Valkorion, undoubtedly the most powerful being in the SWTOR universe. Hello guys and welcome back to SWTOR Central, and in this video we are going to be exploring some theories surrounding recent events and surrounding Valkorion. Okay, for everybody watching this video now, there are going to be heavy spoilers in this video, especially for that of the HK55 bonus chapter. So if you don't want anything spoiled, do not continue watching. Okay, so in the new bonus chapter for HK55 that we got, we encounter once again the Shroud, and we do find out the Shroud's true identity. Now many of you are probably wondering, what kind of role will the Shroud play in the future, considering that we now have the Shroud as a companion, this being Zoom, the droid. More importantly, the replica droid. Well, let me explain. So it would just so happen to be that the Shroud actually manipulated us quite a bit. So I'm actually going to play a few clips here, and I want you guys to pay attention to these clips, and then I'm going to explain a few things afterwards.
Shroud War Journal, entry 4281. I captured an SIS agent on Coruscant. A friend of Theron Shan and a minion of Suresh. He revealed so much valuable information. Shroud War Journal, entry 5963. Investigation of the attacks on Republic and Imperial settlements has led to wild space. New players have entered the game. That won't do. I will find these interlopers and sweep them from my board. Shroud War Journal, entry 6812. Manipulating Darth Mar and my old enemy to find Zakul succeeded beyond all calculations. They and that so-called Eternal Emperor are dead. But removing the son and daughter may be more challenging. Shroud War Journal, entry 9889. After 5 years of meticulous planning, Operation Stranglehold can finally begin! At last! The galaxy will be under my total control! Listen to me! I'm positively giddy! Shroud Personal Log, entry 80764. 5 years for nothing. How could that menace come back from the dead at the precise moment it would ruin my plans? I hate that Outlander! Going to bed early. Shroud War Journal, entry 0001A. Starting a new diary and a clean slate for Operation Kill the Outlander. Enemy intel is scarce for now, but I'll soon fix that. There are plenty of Alliance droids wandering about, after all.
Alright then, so what did we learn from these clips? These clips confirm for us that the Shroud has in fact been watching us for quite some time, and that they know quite a lot about us. And I can safely assume that the Shroud has been watching us for a very long time, even before Knights of the Fallen Empire, simply because of in the droid head museum that he has, he also has a head of 2VR8, which is the ship droid of the Fury class ship. Now these droid heads are just replicas. What the Shroud would do is he would kidnap a droid essentially and just clone its memory core, so he could replicate the head of the droid, and the droid would then tell the Shroud everything that it knows, giving it every single bit of information on our actual character. So it would seem that the Shroud actually had some plans. However, Thexan and Arkan interfered with those plans by attacking the Sith and the Jedi with the Eternal Fleet. Therefore, the Shroud knew that he must take action against the Zakul for his master plan of somehow taking over the galaxy. But his master plan of taking over the galaxy wasn't really explained to us, not very well anyway, so I'm not going to explain that to you because I don't want to get that part wrong. Now here's what I believe the Shroud has done. The Shroud has lured Darth Mar into wild space. Now the Shroud went digging for Zakul and he found it in wild space, which is why he lured Darth Mar there. That way Darth Mar could have a full-on confrontation with the Eternal Empire, which we did actually see. Now, I want you guys to think of this drone that we saw. If you guys remember, we saw a drone, and some of the staff aboard Darth Mar's flagship was saying that it matches the signature of the attackers that attacked settlements of Korriban, I believe. I believe this probe belonged to the Shroud, and this was done on purpose. Now, I'm not entirely sure about that. I can't confirm that it belongs to the Shroud, and I can't confirm that it belongs to Zakul, but I do think that it does belong to the Shroud, and that he put it there to lure the Eternal Empire to Darthmar's location, and also knowing that Darthmar would obviously scan the probe and see the signature which the Shroud would have forged, which would have been enough motivation for Darthmar to follow the probe. Now I'm just going to stop that part of the theory there because I need to move on to something else first. Okay, so the Shroud obviously had a plan to take over and it didn't work. So the Shroud had a plan to somehow overthrow Vaelin and Arkan. However, we, the Outlander, actually interfered with this plan by coming back from the dead, as the Shroud called it, even though we were just in a carbonite chamber. So because we're now back in the game, essentially, we are interfering with the Shroud's plan, so he has to take action to take us out of the equation. I know I keep saying he, I know it's a she because of the droid. Anyways, the Shroud came up with a new journal, which is the last one that we saw, which was kill the Outlander. So the Shroud kidnaps HK-55, attempts to clone his memory core, which he actually did do, to gain information on the Outlander to somehow kill the Outlander. Okay, so this is where my theory goes a little bit out there, but I honestly think that this could actually happen. We have been betrayed by our companions before now. So the Shroud tried to erase HK-55's memory, but it didn't work. It actually backfired, and the Shroud actually ended up messing up her own memory core, causing her to lose her memory every so often. I believe this is fake. I believe that the droid is faking this. The Shroud has a plan. I believe the Shroud has effectively infiltrated the Alliance. The Shroud is now with you as a companion, and where better to be than on the side that is winning the fight, which is currently the Alliance. I believe that the Shroud is going to betray us at some point after gaining enough information within the Alliance, and then somehow attempting to kill us. I don't know how it will play out, but that is my theory for the Shroud as of this moment. Okay, so here is my theory for Valkorion. Okay, so there are a lot of things to take into consideration for Valkorion, so please bear with me as I try to explain, but I promise you that this theory is quite juicy. So what we know at the moment is that Valkorion is Vitiate. I know I've said before that I don't believe this, however, for the purpose of this theory, Valkorion is Vitiate 100%. So before we actually met the entity that is Valkorion, we knew Vitiate, and on Ziost, Vitiate actually consumed as much life as possible and ultimately decimated the planet, leaving it a wasteland. He did this because he feeds on death. For every death that he causes, he becomes more powerful. Now, another thing that I want to point out as well is that Vitiate actually went missing quite some time ago. He lost contact with the Dark Council. Nobody actually had any contact with him except the Wrath of the Emperor, which is of course one of the playable characters that we have. Therefore, stringing us in to the storyline. So why would Vitiate need to consume the life on Ziost? Well, like I said, for every death he causes, he becomes more powerful. So surely he's doing this to become more powerful. It's not like he wasn't powerful already enough though. Or is he getting weaker? Maybe, and he needs to become more powerful. Interesting. But wait, no, that can't be, because in Chapter 2 of Knights of the Fallen Empire, Valkorion directly said to us that after the events of Ziost, he realized he had transcended beyond death's reach. Now here's where it gets juicy, because, my friends, Valkorion is lying to us. Valkorion is not beyond death's reach. In fact, he is anything but. When we spoke with Darthmar on his flagship, we actually had the option to say that the Emperor had fled because he might be vulnerable. Well, guess what, guys and gals? I believe that this is the case. Arkan already said himself, his father's power felt weaker. So after Vitiate had consumed Ziost, he realized that he gained absolutely no power from it. He realized that he had already hit the limit of power that he could get to, and that now, for some reason, he is becoming weaker. Now, something else to point out, and this is quite important. If it is true that the Shroud lured us to wild space to find the Eternal Fleet, then this means that our meeting with Valkorion was premature. This means that it was not determined by Valkorion. Therefore, he was not ready for us to come to him. Valkorion has had to improvise. He did not foresee that he would be stabbed in the back, essentially destroying what could have been his last vessel, or even his original vessel. So Valkorion has now latched onto the Outlander, offering the Outlander his power, testing him at every corner, questioning him, trying to get him to gain his influence. But why? Why would Valkorion need to do this? Valkorion is the most powerful being in the known galaxy. Or is he? What if there was another being, one that could actually threaten Valkorion's position? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the serpent god Zildrog. Zildrog is returning, and I believe that this is causing Valkorion to become weaker. I'm not sure how, but somehow the return of Zildrog is making him weaker, and he needs you the Outlander, because he knows that the Outlander has the potential to be more powerful than he himself. So he is preparing you. He is readying you, and when the moment is right, he is going to take over you. He's done it before. He will do it again. He will take over the Outlander's body. He will take over your power. He will consume everything that you know. He will take all of the power that he has helped you claim, and he will be restored. Valkorion needs us to transcend beyond light and dark, for us to be a compatible host for him to devour. But there is another being in the galaxy, one that has also transcended beyond light and dark before now, a friend, an ally. Remember what the Scion Heskel said to us. He said he had seen the future, and that it would be glorious. And there we have it, my friends. Revan will return, and Valkorion's demise is all but certain. Think about that.